Welcome, and thanks for listening to this week's episode of
The Milk Production.
The Milk Production.
Welcome, and thanks for tuning in to our inaugural episode of The Milk Production. We are very excited to kick it off and chat about fun things. Lots of breastfeeding, lots of bottle feeding conversation, lots of whatever the heck you decide to do to feed your kiddos is cool with us conversation.
And I will be doing my best to distract the host.
We want to do intros.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. I am Megan Selke. I'm an international board certified lactation consultant, co-host on The Milk Production here, mother to 5 strappingly handsome young men, lover of books and learning Spanish.
I'm Russ Rakestraw. I sell software to the government part-time, only because my full-time job is being a dad and a chef, and occasionally I like to ride a river.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the favorite family pastime.
Oh, for sure.
That was the one thing I missed the most when I was away.
In Iraq.
Yeah, that was it. That was the pinnacle activity I wanted to do.
You're telling me you're not going down the Euphrates and or is it the Tigris?
I have no idea. I didn't see a river while I was there.
Oh.
That's terrible. I should know my geography better than that.
There are rivers. I think a river goes right past Baghdad. I'm just saying.
I lie.
I think it's the
did see
Tigris.
one as we were flying over it.
I think it's the Tigris.
No, I have no idea.
Okay.
You might be right, but no, we were not on the river.
Okay.
Wish we were.
So what are we going to talk about today, Megan?
We are going to talk about, we have lots of fun things to talk about. One of which is cow's milk protein allergies. The other thing I'd like to just sort of tap into a little bit is our recent foray into the world of tongue tie revisions and the sort of anomaly situation we had there. And come at it more from the perspective of a parent and less from the perspective of, a medical angle per se. Just sort of talk about what that was like. That's what I'm hoping to get into, and I'll have a little quiz for you, and test some knowledge.
Oh, I'm looking forward to failing that miserably.
I'm rooting for you.
Oh, well, me too.
I didn't know that. Okay, so cow's milk protein allergies. This week, yesterday, I had 2 moms who both were dealing with potential cow's milk protein allergies and really were committed to the idea of breastfeeding. And so that becomes tough because, if mom's consuming cow's milk and the baby's having a cow's milk protein allergy, it's a reaction. It's a fussy baby. It's a slow weight
it's
gain.
not that the baby's consuming the cow's milk. It's that the
right.
baby's drinking the mom's milk and the mom is consuming cow's milk.
Yes.
And so that's getting through.
Yeah. Now,
okay.
if
I was going to say, we're talking about breastfeeding here, so the baby's not having milk.
Yeah, but also, even if you're not talking about breastfeeding, if you're talking about formula feeding, most formulas contain cow's milk protein. They're made from cow's milk protein.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, there's some you can take that are hypoallergenic, and in this case, that would be what would be recommended until you can get the milk proteins out of the diet.
Okay.
Mom's diet.
Okay.
But that's the tough part, is that the moms have to cut out what can be a very significant amount of caloric intake for them.
But not cheese.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No. No. So they have to give up cheese.
Cheese, milk, yogurt. When I was exclusively pumping with Aiden Kahn, I did the calculations, and at one point I was consuming 60% of my caloric intake in some form of dairy, some form of obvious dairy. So not like whey and casein on an ingredient list in something that you pull out of the pantry, but
Right. Something you know is dairy.
Milk in my cereal.
Yeah.
Depending on how you say it, kefir, I used to drink cultured probiotic smoothie milk. Is how I think of it. Eat a yogurt. Eat slices of cheese because they were so easy to grab. I mean, I was,
So there's a theme here.
Yeah.
I'm sensing. Mm-hmm. And that is that the breastfeeding mom has zero time.
Yeah, yeah.
And so dairy represents a pretty easy way to get calories if you don't have a lot of time. Like you said, a piece of cheese, bowl of cereal,
A glass of kefir that you just pound real quick.
Right.
Yeah.
You don't have time necessarily to make like a, pork roulade with a nice, spinach, garlic, rice in the middle.
No, that sounds amazing, one. And two, that would be more of like a dad job. And even in the early days, that's not really a sustainable dad job. I mean, you're setting
We're pretty
mom up.
busy in the early days too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You might be up all night helping mom position or change diapers or clothes or whatever. So, that's those things are a long way off in the newborn days.
Yeah.
But certainly even after the newborn days, when dad goes back to making those roulades and delicious meals.
We like saying roulade, don't we? It's
Yeah.
just a meat roly-poly.
Yeah. Roly-poly pork, as we call it here
Roly-poly
in the house. Yeah, so even at that point where you're starting to, feel like a human again and cooking normal meals and stuff like that, moms during the day when they're alone, or even in the evening when dad's doing something else or with the other kids or whatever, mom's looking for that quick.
How prevalent is this?
Not
How often do you
common.
see it in your practice?
The fact that I had 2 in the same day blows my mind.
Okay.
So, as a lactation consultant, when you see signs and symptoms in a baby that might be cow's milk protein allergy, one of the problems is that those signs and symptoms can be similar or related to other issues. So it's like gassiness, inconsolable, potentially slow weight gain, difficulties feeding, right? So it's, is this a tongue tie? Does mom have enough milk?
Is it just being an infant?
Is
Because
it
all
just
those
being a
symptoms
baby?
are sometimes what you just see. And
Gas,
there's,
yeah.
like,
And
just
then,
life.
And then the stools, infant stool is kind of weird.
An infant stool, they can't even sit up.
No. Stop. You're such a dork. You're such a dad. So the poop is mustardy yellow and seedy.
Well, that's what the breastfeeding is always mustard.
Yeah,
yellow.
but it's not it's not like adult stool. It's not, ideally.
Well, it never is though. That's my point.
Yeah, and that's what
Okay.
I'm saying. It's like, it's already weird. It's doesn't have shape.
Yeah.
It's sort of like a puddle
It
of,
also doesn't really stink.
yeah, which is nice.
It is.
So,
Benefits of breastfeeding
but it's
for a
like
dad.
mustardy yellow.
Listen, if you got to change the diaper, like I'm the primary diaper changer, if that's your role, you want to be advocating for breastfeeding.
We go 1 for 1 anymore, but certainly in the early days it was.
Yeah, you want to be advocating for breastfeeding. Once
The
they
formula
switch
diapers
over,
do
you're like,
make it a
what
little-
happened to my child?
And certainly when you start to incorporate food,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, then you start to get some shape to it, and it changes.
Colors, blueberries. Let me tell you something. We got a little blueberry monster.
I called the pediatrician when Aiden Kahn, he pooped black, like gritty black stool one time, and he was under a year old, and I was like, oh my God, something's going on. This is terrible. Called the pediatrician on the weekend. The pediatrician was like, did he eat blueberries?
Yes.
Yeah, actually,
Done.
he had like a pound of blueberries. Yeah, that's what it looks like when he poops blueberries. I was like,
It literally
so
stains
good.
stains their bottom sometimes.
Yeah, yeah.
And you don't have to it's not like you left the poopy diaper on. Like
Right.
it could be on there for like
A second.
45 seconds
Yeah.
and all of a sudden you're like, oh my God,
got blueberry
I've
bottom.
got a Smurf bottom here. Smurf bottom diaper, blueberries in the stool. There's a song there somewhere.
I know, you did it. You
Yeah.
made it.
Mm-hmm.
We'll sort of spin that afterward into
Sounds good.
a really great YouTube video.
Sounds good.
So back to the subject at hand, infant stool is weird anyway.
Yep.
And then you throw in, say you have mucus or you have scant stools, like teeny tiny small smears, but like 10 times a day. An infant pooping anywhere from once a day to 8-10 times a day is fairly normal. But when you feel like like the mom I was talking to yesterday, she said, in 5 minutes I heard my baby poop like 5 times. Changed the diaper, baby's pooping on me. And it's just spraying. And it's like, yes, that does happen, but it doesn't happen. You know, that's a funny story you tell once. That's not your, daily experience. And so if this is happening frequently.
It happened day 1 with our littlest one.
It wasn't stool, that was pee.
Oh, that's right. God, the story's so much better if it was stool, though.
It was still pretty great because I was over in the bed on the bag.
Yeah. And I was changing his diaper. And this is, I think,
you were stumbling
one
around.
of the first few diapers I changed. Yeah. It was
first few
god awful early in the morning. Yeah, Jackson, of course. Not the first diaper. I started changing diapers when I was 8.
Yeah.
But yeah, and he starts peeing all over the hospital room floor, and I start slipping in it. Like I'm going to get diapers.
Well, the visual
like half
to me
awake.
is, first of all, you're grumbling because this is our first little round of sleep in like 2-3 days. So this is a bit. He's fussing. We gotta change his diaper, but it's not we because I'm in bed on mag and can't get up, and you're the guy. Yeah, magnesium, and you're the guy. And so I see grumble, and you're going over, and you get the diaper and the you're trying to kind of unwrap and all that. So then you unwrap and then you realize you forgot the wipes and maybe there's some stool in there. And as you're grabbing the wipes, this arch of pee is shooting. And I'm not exaggerating at the size that we're talking about here. I mean, this arch it went probably 2 feet up in the air and maybe 2 to 3 feet out away from the bassinet.
Yeah.
I mean, it was
all over the floor. I was slipping. I'm not exaggerating. I was slipping all over it.
And we have 4 older boys. It's not like we're new to the changing of the boys' diapers.
Yeah, I know, but it's like, come on. It happens every now and then. Like people buy those PPTPs.
Yeah, that was overrated. PPTPs don't work. I mean, they work.
They work. But why are you going to do that every time you get a diaper change? Exactly. You get that little PPT? No, just come on.
Yeah. Put a wipe over
but I had forgotten. It had been many years, so I'd forgotten.
Practice.
Especially when they're newborn, you keep that thing covered. And you get ready. You open it up. Oh, he's going to pee again. You put it back.
Yeah.
You got to be ready for that because that cold air hits that thing and.
So anyway, with our situation, it wasn't stool, and it is. To your question about how common it is.
We're going to do a lot of digressions in this show. I can feel it.
Story of my life.
Yeah, I'm excited. Just keep reining it back in, reining in that ADD.
There you go. Yeah, I'll let you kind of go off on your wild tangents and then just reel you in every now.
Squirrel.
So yes, it's very uncommon, and I tell moms this when we're trying to figure out, is this inconsolable overnight fussiness a product of the fact that they were being held in your belly for 9.5 months, and now we want to set them in a crib so we can get some sleep, and they're like, what the heck? Since we still haven't decided about whether we're using curse words, and we're currently going with a family-friendly version of this show.
Okay, quick digression there.
Yeah.
If you guys could vote on the level of cursing we can do on this show.
The level of appropriate
Yeah,
cursing.
I would say level A would be...
Keep it clean.
Keep it total clean. That's your vote. Comment
now,
A.
just keep in mind, when we say clean, we're going to talk about poop, we're going to talk about pregnancy, we're going to talk about deliveries, we're going to talk about
We're just
breasts.
talking about the use of words. So level A would be completely clean. Vote for that. Level B, damn and hell. I would say damn and hell.
All right.
Level C,
everything but
S
the F word.
Everything but the F word. And then level D would be full on
Level
F
D
word.
would be let your freedom flag fly.
Wait a minute now. Listen, I feel like you're being biased. Okay? You're basically...
Listen,
so you're saying a vote for B is a vote for oppression
freedom.
and not freedom? Because D is the freedom vote in your idea. And I don't like that.
I will tell you this. I am not comfortable dropping the F-bomb. A recording of me with the camera on the voice,
Yeah, but if that's what our audience...
I'm not in the military anymore.
If that's what our audience desires...
But what if I'm viewed as a vulgar... Well, who cares?
If that's what the audience wants, you got to give them what they want, girl. Okay.
We leave this important decision to you,
To
folks.
you. Yeah, you have the power.
All decisions are for freedom, by the way.
Anyway, right now we're at heck.
Okay, so right now we're at heck.
Shucks. Dang.
Oh, yeah. So you don't know what the heck is causing this situation with baby.
Is there a test?
Yes, there is a test. And so it is like textbook lactation consultant guidance to say the last thing we want to do is elimination diet. We want to try to rule some things out first. And there is a newborn test, but when a 7-year-old, when a 38-year-old has an allergy test or has an allergy issue or concern about allergies, they go in and they do testing and it's very clear. But for newborns, they can't do that same allergy testing with effectiveness, like with surety. Little time for our little diverging into the quiz, which we need to have a name for this. We need to have a name for our
It's time for quiz. Do it with
we're
me.
doing
Ready?
it together. Okay.
It's time for quiz of the day.
Okay, what this is it. What test can be done for newborns to detect the presence of a cow's milk protein allergy? Do you know the answer to that question?
Well, when I think test, the first thing I think of is the SAT, but I don't think their little hands can fill in those bubbles yet. In the scan.
I think
Do
it's
they
because
still use
you
Scantrons?
scored so well on it. You always like to.
Do they still use Scantrons?
You're a little nerd. You're such a dad.
Yeah. Well, okay. So we're gonna have to rule out the SAT. No, seriously. I would guess blood test.
Yeah. So it doesn't work for infants. It does not work. Wrong.
Yeah.
Okay. So the answer to that question is a stool test. They check for microscopic amounts of blood. So
Is that the only thing that can cause that, though?
no, and so
in other words, a cow's milk allergy. Other things can cause microscopic blood in the stool.
yeah, and we had a very astute dad ask that question yesterday. So one of the babies was she's beyond her birth weight, 14 days, which is something we want to hit. But, something that makes us very comfortable is 1 ounce per day of life. And she was gaining about 0.85 ounces per day of life.
That's an 85. That's a B.
Okay. She's fine. And
85%.
she's littler. She's a little thing. She's in the 5-pound category. Sweet little heart. And the dad astutely pointed out after the results of this test come back, he says, so she has what he referred to as looking like an open wound, but it's like raw skin from a diaper rash, which at this age can also be a sign or symptom of a potential cow's milk.
Yeah, I don't remember a lot of diaper rashes early on with any of our kiddos.
It's unusual.
They come later.
Yeah, but not completely out of the realm of possibility.
Yeah. Okay.
And so he did say that it was really raw, and could that have caused the presence of microscopic amounts of blood in the stool? And the answer was yes, that can. However, given these other symptoms, it's hard to know.
Yeah.
And so this mom is venturing into the world of elimination diets, cutting out milk and casein and whey and easy to eat slices of cheese.
This episode brought to you by oat milk lattes.
Your friendly milk substitute, oat milk.
Yes. By the way, seriously, not getting endorsed by them, but Oatly.
Yeah.
If you're gonna go oat milk,
Fire.
Oatly is the jam.
You're not wrong. Doesn't Starbucks use it now?
Sometimes I see them use it. Sometimes they use something else, but I use it.
Yeah, that's the good stuff.
Let me tell you. Oatly.
Oatly.
Funny packaging too. Sorry, I digress.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah. So yes, absolutely astute observation of the dad, and worth weighing that in mom's consideration of whether she's going to be cutting milk proteins out.
Yeah.
And she's deciding to. She's going to go forward with that.
Wow.
And so they'll be back in 2 weeks, and they'll do another stool test. That brings me to another question from the
Quiz of the day. By the way, I don't think it's considered vibrato when you just shake your head while you're singing. I mean, I'm no singer, but...
Okay, question number 2 for you, Dad.
Yes.
How long does it take for milk to move out of the digestive system.
Digestive system or the entire body?
Out of the body. Yeah, that's an excellent point.
Okay. If I were to guess, I would say like 48 hours is about how long it takes like anything to digest, as long as your system's working well. That's like the max time. So I'll add double that. I'll say 4 days.
4 days. Final answer?
Final answer, 4 days.
You see the most benefit when you cut food out in the first 3 days. So not
Pretty close.
Yeah, not out of the.
Wait a minute, you
realm
said the
there.
most benefit.
Yeah. It can stay in your system for up to 3 weeks.
Holy, because you haven't voted yet.
Holy shoot.
Holy darn.
Holy heck.
shucks. Because you haven't voted yet. See? Yeah. Get on there and vote. You could change the course of this show.
Holy shoot.
Yeah. We could go full on X-rated.
I don't know about that.
We're hosting our podcast on OnlyFans.
Oh, jeez. Not podcast goals. Hashtag not podcast goals. So yes, it can take 3 weeks to fully get out of the system. So think, out of the breast milk and subsequently out of baby's body as well.
Huh.
So that can be tough. And if you decide not to give your breast milk as you're like decreasing your milk intake, you can still pump and save it. That will protect your supply. And babies usually outgrow this. When, it's hard to say, sometimes between 9 and 12 months, sometimes it can persist longer into childhood. And sometimes they don't outgrow it, but more commonly they usually outgrow it. So if you've saved breast milk, then you can either introduce it into small amounts when you're ready to try and see if they're okay with the cow's milk protein or rather with cow's milk proteins.
Uh-huh.
You can take small amounts of the previously pumped milk from when you still had milk in or cow's milk in your system, and incorporate it into non-cow's milk protein breast milk.
Got it.
And sort of slowly introduce it that way. See if they're able to kind of, handle it. You look distracted.
No, I'm just thinking about what you're saying in like weird ways. Like, it's so weird. My kiddos didn't have any allergies. I'm not sure if I can definitively say that.
Yeah.
What we chalked up to, it's just being gassy. That's what kids are.
Right.
He's having some poop issues.
Right.
Just standard kid stuff. Yeah, I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, it's tough. And Aiden Khan had visible blood in his stool at the 15-month mark.
Ooh.
So
Yeah, but he's had issues.
He doesn't.
He has
drink
milk issues. Yeah.
So
he wants to.
Yeah.
He wants
bless
that
his
milk.
heart. Man, that was a hard conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Telling him he couldn't have pizza when everybody else was having it, or milkshakes.
Ice
Now
cream, yeah.
he's old enough to choose. You know, I mean,
and sometimes he chooses that.
yeah,
yeah.
But not before soccer practice. Not on a road trip. He's got boundaries.
So we've covered a lot.
Yeah.
Over this session.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a good inaugural, episode of the milk production. But ultimately, it's up to our listeners, our viewers.
Yeah.
Let us know what you think.
Please.
Let us know what you'd like to see in the future, subjects you'd like to hear about. Let us know if you didn't like a particular segment or something we went over.
Mom has already chimed in offline and advised me that she thinks it would be ideal if at some point we discussed how our blended family does blended family things. Which I thought was interesting.
Yeah, that sounds good. That's a good subject. We are a blended family. Both Megan and I have 2 kiddos from previous marriages. So certainly happy to talk about that.
Mm-hmm. Big family life. We've got lots of big family life.
Yeah, lots to come. We have a lot of things to discuss, and it's not all going to be 100% breastfeeding.
No.
Especially if I have my way, we're going to digress into everything from woodworking to stargazing.
Exciting.
Yeah, so thanks for joining us for this week's episode of The Milk Production.
Thank you.
We really look forward to seeing you next week.
Yeah. Thanks for joining.
Have a great week and an Air Force Day. that right? Did I say that right?
You say have a great Air Force Day.
Have a great Air Force Day.
But I'm retired.
Okay, so we're not going to say that.
Yeah.
Have a great week. We can't wait to see you again.
Have a great lactation day.
Yeah.